second. There we see some revelers ringing the bell there, the Gap ringing the bell, and sounded like a lot of cheers there coming from the floor. Here are the prices as we close out the day, close out the week as well. The S&P rallying up to 1,025, gaining almost 2% there, putting on about 20 points. The Dow adding 150 points and change today at 95.02 on a closing level, and the NASDAQ rising 1.5%, a little more, 1.6% to 2020. So big gains today on the back of positive economic data that we had in the U.S. and also out of France and Germany. And, of course, the bear market, the fast bear market drop in China seems to have turned around a little bit there as well. So that has to drive a little bit of optimism. Let's get a breakdown of what really drove the markets piece by piece today. Suzanne O'Halloran joins us from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Laura Lee is here with us to discuss what earnings drove the rise in the markets today. And still with us is our featured guest, Kevin Caron, market strategist at Stifel Nicolaus. Suzanne, I want to start with you down on the NYSE. A lot of commotion down there. There was, Matt. Well, you know, the Gap celebrated its 40th anniversary today. A lot of traders in jeans, first time ever. But we also had a celebration going on, of course, because of today's rally. Even some of the bearish traders that I talk to on a daily basis did not want to be left out of today's market, especially if the global economy is recovering. And energy shares were your strongest performers today. They really took their cue from oil prices today. Energy stocks led the S&P up well over 2%. And this really started this morning when we saw crude hit that $74 a barrel level. Crude also at a 10-month high, also fueling the S&P to a 10-month high today. So a lot of demand for energy stocks on the global economic recovery theme. Also, here in the U.S., we got those better than expected existing home sales numbers. Investors believe perhaps the housing market is now stabilizing. Those numbers the strongest since 2007. So we saw a lot of money flow into the U.S. home building stocks today as well. And I want to mention Disney because it was an interesting mover today. Disney shares one of the better Dow performers. We learned the company has been talking with the Chinese government about building a theme park in Shanghai just days after investors were talking about Shanghai's stock market perhaps entering a bear market territory, Matt. So that's really the shape up here. A lot of positive news, more so than negative, Matt. And Nike, though, was sold off today. What are investors thinking there? What's the story?
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting story today. We had Foot Locker and Hibbett Sports, which actually sell Nike footwear, have disappointing quarters. So this made investors, including those at Thomas Wiesel, the analyst team, they're a little bit nervous about what's ahead for Nike. They did lower their profit estimates for the world's largest shoemaker. And, Matt, it's also interesting because we're in the back-to-school shopping season, and if these stores aren't selling the hot sneakers or the hot goods, that does not bode well, again, for consumer spending and consumer sentiment. Back to you, Matt.
All right, Suzanne, thanks very much.